Hey man, how's your movie going?
Well. If it isn't my old friends. Hello, old friends. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I'm got some updates for you. So, what is this? This is, hey man, how's your movie going? It's about it's the production diary for the Full Fungus. I am Jim Lujan, and I'm creating a feature-length animated film called The Full Fungus. That is just a joyous amount of fun, and we are gonna give some updates today. But before we get started, I figured we'd have a little word from our sponsor. Here we go.
You're an American original, my friend. You don't want anything that tastes half-ass, especially your beer.
You want the American flavor!
Do you want some foreign beer ballet dancing around your taste buds? I don't think so.
You want the American flavor!
You want the American flavor. Old Gold Beer. Taste the pride.
That's right. Well, look who we have here. It's Martin Scores Easy.
Scores easy. That's
Hello,
me.
Martin. How are you doing?
Lujan, how are you? You caught me in the middle of my dinner.
Well, it is very early. I know they had early bird specials going, so.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't actually Martin Scores Easy. It's Paul Pate.
Scorsese.
I know, he scores easy. Paul Pate, welcome back to Hey Man, how's your movie going? How's your movie going, Paul?
Well, my movie's done. My movie is out there. It's living its best life. And so, the question is, how's your movie going?
My movie's going along good.
Awesome.
Question for you now. So I definitely wanted to have you on to talk about, you recently played your movie in a festival. So we're going to be talking about that today.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about what your movie is, but we're here to talk about my movie too, right?
Yeah. How's your movie going?
It's coming along good.
The Full Fungus. Give us the elevator pitch on it.
The Full Fungus is the story of a detective named Chino Diamond, a private detective, and he gets looped into this mystery where there's this missing piece of music, legendary piece of music, and it looks like it might have turned up. And the mob, especially a mobster named Koviak, wants to get his hands on it. He's been trying for years to get his hands on this music, and it's about a cast of characters that have various degrees of involvement, and it's like a mad world, but with one less mad.
Great movie. I tried to watch that.
Yeah,
years ago and didn't hold up. It was so slow. But,
so we'll go for about an hour today because I'm very important. Have a dinner engagement. So
probably with the real Martin Scorsese.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder if I can change my name on here.
We're gonna go to Whataburger, Martin Scorsese. I hear he has coupons, so we're gonna do that. So other than that, yeah, it's been a while. The last one I did was a music update. I showed people a live demonstration of me doing music, which I realized as I was doing it that, wow, showing music on the computer is not as fun as just like sitting here and playing music, So
yeah,
but it was interesting, I guess. Some people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain things translate. I was looking back through to share the post that I shared that we were doing this, and like the first Hey Man, It's Not Your Movie was like 6 months ago, I think, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and this is like maybe like episode 7 or 8, something
13,
like that.
This is 13.
What?
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, I was doing them every about every 2 to 3 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I was doing them at first. But if you go back and watch the earlier episodes, I'm staying true to my claim because I said as I get to about the halfway mark of the movie, I said I would be doing these way less.
Right.
So true.
You
So
know
now,
yourself well. You've done this a lot.
yeah, because I knew
You've made over 50 short films and feature length cartoons.
Yeah. This isn't my first rodeo. It's my third rodeo. So I've done one feature length film by myself, where before I ever met Bill Plimpton, I did for Counterclockwise in Foreverland.
Right.
And that was about an hour. And then I did Revengeance with Bill Plimpton, and we had a team of people helping. So that was great fun. And then in between Revengeance and this, which has been probably been like 5 or 6 years since Revengeance had come out, I started doing just like 20-minute shorts, like little mini movies. And I was having I did probably 5 of them. I had such a really good time doing those. And then towards the end, when I finished the last one, which was called The Night Eats Its Own, I had a really fun time doing that. But towards the end of that, I just thought, well, I could start another one, but I've already done a few of these in a row. So I wanted to do something different. And I've had this idea for a while, and I thought this was a good time to do this. I wanted to do something that was kind of unpredictable for myself too, as well, that I didn't know every detail. And,
well, hey, you know what though? I've been thinking about something though. Like you got the opportunity with Bill Plimpton because of your catalog of shorts, you like 5-7 minute, just really funny, wacky cartoons. And if you watch one of them, it's a fun cartoon. But if you watch several, which when I first found out about you, and I did, you realize there's this like whole Luhanaverse, and that's what Bill Plimpton, I think, appreciated about you. And that's why, he wanted you to work with you on Revengeance. But then since then, you've been sort of growing, as an artist, making the 20-minute, really exploring and refining your 20-minute. That's a short still, but it's not a 5-minute cartoon. It's a different kind of movie. It's a different kind of story. But then now you're also doing feature lengths, which is a whole other thing. But I've been thinking, what I was thinking about was like you're known as independent animation, but that really doesn't really do you like isn't fair, because you do the music, you do the voices, you get actors to do voices, you do the script, the story. It's really filmmaking what you're doing. It's not just animation, It's not just cartoons. So I was kind of joking about, we're going to get here and talk about movies, but I kind of see myself as like an animator. Like Samurai Times, a 5-minute thing. There wasn't much of a story to it, a little bit, but it's more of just an animation showcase or something. Whereas you're really you're doing everything that is involved in filmmaking, and you're telling this with a feature-length film. So to me, there's just a difference between, what a lot of animators and independent animators are doing and what you're doing.
Thank you, Paul. I mean, it all started with way back in the day with graphic novels. I kind of wanted to do like the animated version of a graphic novel, like a self-contained story.
Right.
And it's all storytelling, Paul. Paul, it's all storytelling. You can tell a story. You can tell 2 stories. You can tell Joshua Kimball's 2 stories. You can tell any kind of story you want, Paul. But it really all comes down to filmmaking. He's a filmmaker. You make a 20-minute.
He talks with his hands a lot too.
I can't do it. Anyways, Gary Hodges asked if the real Martin Scorsese was going to pop in. So yes, he is. It all started with the whole graphic novel genre. I wanted it at one point to be a graphic novel storyteller because I had so many longer stories that I wanted to tell. And I was also, though, a fan of Looney Tunes, and all the Bugs Bunny cartoons and all that whole world. That's in a universe. And at the same time, Pulp Fiction was coming out, Big Lebowski. Those films were really inspirational to me, as they were to a lot of people. So when it came time to deciding, like, I really knew I wanted, and there was also the music aspect. At one point, I thought I wanted to be a producer, and then when it came time for reality, I realized I didn't want to work in a recording studio. I tried that. It wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. So
you always dreamed of working the dishes at Taco Bell.
Yeah, that was good too. Also, making live action films required so much logistics and technical expertise that I just didn't. Unless you could be one of those directors that just points and goes, "Okay, I want the lighting to look like this. I want that to look like." If you're doing that, but if you're an independent filmmaker, you really are hands-on with the camera and just everything.
Yeah.
And I just didn't have any interest in that.
Right.
And I thought I wanted to be a comic book creator at one point. I mean, I thought about it. I really thought about it because I really like the idea of graphic novels. I like the idea of these self-contained big stories.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I know my comic book friends laugh when I say this, but I found comic books to be way too hard to make. I just didn't have the inspiration to do it. And I think looking back now, I mean, I've been doing this for close to 60 years. What I found is it's because I love all three things: music, film, and illustration or cartooning. That's why doing the animated film scratches each one of those itches.
Yeah.
And I'm an itchy boy. But this happened recently too. I got to a point where in the full fungus where I was starting to get fatigued from drawing, like I gotta draw a whole nother scene. And I just stopped drawing for a couple weeks and started doing the music for it. In fact, I started getting almost too distracted with doing music.
Yeah.
I got a new guitar.
Oh, nice.
But
wow.
Yeah. So, so I was like, I love making music, writing songs. It's like my favorite thing. But so I started doing that. And then just a couple of days ago, this is nice. I was in the midst of making music and making some music for the film and just experimenting and trying things. And then a feeling hit me where I was like, I miss working on the full fungus. Like I want to draw again. So I sat down and I drew a big whole scene. I finished the scene that I was working on. And because I had a moment I had like an inspiration to do it. And I think that's because I got to step away from it and be creative in another field,
Right.
So, and then that'll happen with the editing too and animating. So there's like a lot of different hats you get to wear.
Right.
And you like that.
But I mean, but also, I mean, not everybody can do that, like
everybody can do it.
Yeah.
Just they can't do it well.
So I did. Speaking of that, I went to this film festival, which is a whole lot of fun. And I met some people there, and one young lady she's a filmmaker. She reached out to me, after the film. She sent me a message, or after the festival. A few days go by, and she sends me a message and says about Samurai Pthe that she really liked the music.
which there's a story behind that. Tell her how you created the music for Samurai Pthe.
Yeah, well, actually, what she's asked me was, where did I source the music?
Oh.
And I actually don't really know what that means. I think I might know what it means, but do you know what it means? I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I think she meant like where, like, well, it's another way of saying how did you create it, or did you buy it from someone, or did you?
Yeah. So anyway, I made the music myself, sort of. I mean, I can't even do anything musical, but I know this is what I told her. I'm so not musical. I can't do anything, but I know what I like. And so I use GarageBand, which is great for, I hear so many GarageBand stuff. I hear so much GarageBand stuff on like YouTube videos. I'm like, oh, they got that from GarageBand because I've heard it on there. You just go through it and you just kind of sample all the little loops and things, and I just piece them together. and I made the music for the whole soundtrack for Samurai Tie.
Which is great too. But when I heard that, I'm like, I thought to myself, where did you get that music, Paul?
Yeah,
and because it fits really well. So for those,
right. So I don't. I'm not musical in that I can't just create anything. I'm not real versed in music at all.
Paul,
but I know what I like.
I know they can't see Samurai Tie because it's not really online. Online, is it? Public?
Oh yeah, it's actually back online now. It's
is it really? If they go to paulpate.com, can they see it there?
Yeah, well, you go to YouTube and search for Paul Pate animation.
And then Samurai Tie.
Yeah, Samurai Tie, who's an actual samurai warrior who's kicking ass right now as we speak. So
/ little person porn.
But no, the film festival was a lot of fun. Yes. If you want to talk about, I don't know if you want to.
I do 100% because, and that's one of the things I was telling you, because one of the goals when I started doing this film, and I'll be showing, actually, I'm going to show some animation from the film. Okay. It's not going to be edited, or there's not going to be any voices, but you're going to see a little bit of movement. And
yeah, that'd be great.
But one of the first goals with this film was to put it in festivals. That was like I wanted to submit this for festivals.
Well, this is why I was thinking about what I was talking about earlier, because I feel like, like if you submit it, like I've submitted to animation film festivals thinking, okay, I'm clearly an animator, probably not much more. The stories that I've put together are pretty weird. I mean, I don't know how coherent they are, but clearly an animator. And I didn't get into those film festivals. I'm like the aesthetic. I don't know what it is, but and your film is clearly you're an animator, but it's so much more. So to me, it's a full blown. I mean, I haven't seen the full Fungus, but I know your past films and how and I'm watching you put this one together, and I know it's going to be great. And it's like it's not really fair to put it in an animation film festival. I mean, I think it should be a movie, just like any other movie that goes into a film festival. But it just so happens that it's animation, I mean,
I don't think some
time paper, just like any other movie,
There's a lot of people that can't get past that, though. Well, they can't get past the look of my animation as well, even in animation.
Yeah, which is it's crazy because I remember looking at your animation at first, the art, and I was like, I wasn't sure if I liked it, But then it's just like anything, you're like, that's bitter. But that's good. I really like it, and then you drink more. So that was kind of your art.
It's just it's a style, and it's like I don't know what I tend to do is I recognize that my art has a certain look to it and feel to it, and I kind of play against it too. In other words, like somebody gave me a compliment one time. I took it as a compliment. They said, "Your stuff looks like it should be filthy." Like people should just be really raunchy and cussing and stuff, but it's not. It plays against that a little bit, so it kind of equals out. I think it gives a good balance. But you got to watch the stuff to know that. And if you don't watch it,
right.
But and I recognize that my animation style isn't for everyone, and it's its own little thing. But
where I was going was I feel like I hope you get into some film festivals. That'd be so awesome. It's just with it being a feature length, and then that what we've been talking about is like I could see but I could see you having trouble with certain film festivals. But the one that I was in recently was Hell's Half Mile Film and Music Festival in Bay City, Michigan, and I mean it was great. Here's the badge for it or whatever that I had. The thing.
Let's see. How do we make Paul the? Oh, you know what? I got to put you on this side, Paul.
But
there we go.
There we go. So this is the so the artwork can kind of give you the vibe of the thing, and maybe that I don't know. You have to understand, like Michigan, like come back, Jim. There you are. Like Michigan, Michigan is Bay City is a small town up in the middle of Michigan. It's this it's a weird kind of place, but all these really progressive, just wild, fun people, I think, descended upon this city, this little town, which is a cute, quaint little town, and had this film festival, and they got great theaters there and just a super great vibe. And it was so much fun. Like they had, events throughout the weekend where they would, say we're having this whatever gathering at a such and such bar. So it wasn't just the filmmakers, but it was, you go in this bar and there's all these filmmakers there,
Mm-hmm.
and just the atmosphere of the place was so much fun. And so that to me, is a big part of it. And you get to chit chat with people that, you watch their film and then you talk to them about it. They're the filmmaker, A great thing was I met some guys. They made this movie called A Bad Trip Home, I think it was. It was about a guy who like is getting ready to go home. He went to buy drugs and then he was going to drive home. But then for some reason, this guy talked him into taking the drugs and then drive home. That way, when you got home, then you'd be high, And well, he got high before he got home because his car broke down. That's what it was. And so then all of this comedy ensues, for about 10, 15 minutes. A great little movie. But the guys who made it I got to meet them and chat with them, and they were really fun. They were from Flint, which is Rust City.
Yeah.
So which is I write about in my graphic novels. So that was fun for me. Just little things like that.
Yeah.
But they were, you could just tell these were young guys and they were just having a ball,
Yeah.
making these wacky, zany movies. And then my daughter Julia, when I went to my first film festival years ago, she was just a little baby. She was like 2 or 3. We have some pictures of her there. I'm holding her in my arms. And now she's 12 and she's, almost as tall as my wife. And we went to see a block of shorts together. And these shorts were great, like 10-minute, there was probably 8 of them, I think. And every single one of them was awesome. So stuff like that made it really fun. And then the theater, actually, in my film was played in a planetarium, which was kind of weird.
What? Really?
Yeah. So you sit back and it's on the planetarium thing.
Oh, wow.
And it was like to see you actually had to turn your head to see the whole screen.
Wow.
I don't know if it was weird. It was a little bit different, I don't know if I liked it, but it worked fine.
Wow.
But even the films there, like I said, that one was where we saw A Bad Trip Home. And there was one called The Package Thief, which I really liked. And that was that young lady that made the film and, reached out to me afterwards. And so she's just awesome.
You're going to get some voice talent for your next animated thing?
Yeah. I mean, maybe she's that'd be awesome.
Wow.
But so yeah, that part of it was fun. And then to have a big crowd of people watch your film and get a response, like they laughed at the right spots, and then they asked some questions afterwards, which is fun.
Did the drugs kick in before you get home?
I don't do drugs, Jim. So, but I'm trying to think what else, I guess, just being around it. Like even so, it was really fun too. Of course, my wife and Julia came with me. My daughter Emily was supposed to show up, but then she got lost and didn't went back home. My son Nathan actually lived, just by random chance, lives right out there, so he went with us.
Oh, that's great.
And then my dad happens to live there too, and so he went.
Wow.
And my in-laws, my wife's parents, they're really super awesome people, and they show up for everything. They're just great. So they were there.
Aren't you glad you don't have any sex scenes in your film now?
Well, it's funny because my dad is like super duper religious, right? And but he can't hear a damn thing. So, and I think at one point he fell asleep too during the movies. So, but most of the movies were pretty raunchy.
Oh yeah.
So there at one point, there were I think it was The Bad Trip Home. Somebody, ran by, and the guy looks at the camera and goes, "Jesus freaks," So it says that, and I was just like, "Oh, my poor dad sitting over there," but he can't hear anything, so he actually enjoyed the whole thing.
Well, you know why? Because his drugs are kicking in. So.
Yeah, his drugs are kicking in. There was actually one film that was pretty cool, Jim. There was a film there that was like, it was just kind of like a 3 or 4, maybe no, it was probably a 4 or 5 minute documentary almost. It was about a lady. She's maybe 60, lives somewhere in Michigan, and she's a shepherd. And it was about her taking care of her sheep. There wasn't really much of a point to it. It was a great atmosphere to the story, but it was really, like just sort of like real. It showed her walking out in the morning, and the sheep, with the dog and the sheep and the fog, and she's, doing her little chores and stuff. And she's sitting in her house drinking coffee, and it was just, and she talked a little bit about what it's like to be a shepherd and da-da-da. And then at the end, the people who were there representing that film were this young couple that had a clothing brand that was like with wool.
Oh, okay.
So they were, sort of promoting this film in conjunction with their clothing brand. You know what I mean? So it's just different kind of zany stuff like that,
Just like you were selling samurai swords,
Yeah, yeah. So just stuff like that you would never expect, that is just really interesting.
How many festivals did you enter in?
There was all in Michigan. Maybe I think it was 5. I'm going to say 5, and they weren't all free.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right? It was like $25 here. Whatever. It was one of them. The funny thing is, I had a coupon for this one, but I forgot to use it.
Nice.
By the time I got done with my film, and I was submitting, I forgot to use the coupon. So
at least it got in though.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, it was cool. So
fantastic. I can't imagine, man. It'll be very exciting when the film's done.
Yeah,
I just have to remind myself. I mean, everyone goes through this.
Yeah.
That if I'm happy with it, it's really, that's 90% of the battle.
I know. I mean, like I said, I've submitted lots of films to film festivals, different ones, and then I got into my first one, but then I haven't got in any since. And then all of a sudden, Samurai Thai, and it was so short and very specific that I felt like.
One more question I have.
Mm-hmm.
What format did you give them the film in, and how did you deliver it?
I delivered it. Well, I submitted it through Film Freeway.
Okay.
Just an iMovie. The iMovie. Is that the software we make movies in?
Mm-hmm. MP4.
MP4, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Uploaded it to Film Freeway, so they had it.
Did they use that, the actual one you?
No, and then I shared. Then they asked me to share it with them on Google Drive.
Okay.
So then I did that too. So
okay, all right, excellent. I'm interested in how. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to deliver the.
I know, like a feature-length film. I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, I can share it on Google Drive or something like that. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in order to watch it initially, I think they went right to Film Freeway. I think.
Yeah. Well, Paul, do you want to see a little unedited snippet from Full Fungus?
Yeah.
It's gonna have no context, but I'll tell you what it is real quick. So
Okay.
my good friend Ben Davis, who Ben Davis lives out in the Southern California area. He's lived out here for like 20 years, but he's from Texas. He's from, I don't know if he's from Austin, but he lived in Austin. But he was the first person to ever reach out to me and say, would you like to play in my film festival? And this was in 1998, you know?
Okay.
And he had a film festival called the Conduit Film Festival. And I played 2 of my films, Stoner Girl and Chicken and Cigarettes. Actually, I played 3 films, Stoner Girl, Chicken and Cigarettes. I think I played one called Get Your Groove On. So they're all shorts, but I played them in his festival, and it got a great response. They were animatic cartoons, no movement, just pictures and sound. And he flew me out there. It was just a great experience. Wow. It was during during South by Southwest. So I've been friends with him ever since. And he's been involved in here and there in my cartoons once in a while. But I had him years ago, probably 4 or 5 years ago, had him record a guy, the vocals for a guy in a recording studio, just singing, these lines, like sing it with a lot of heart, and just escalated over and over. It was going to be for another project, but I ended up using it for the full Fungus.
Oh, awesome.
So what you're going to see is the unedited footage. It's just going to be a bunch of clips of him singing over and over the same similar lines. Oh, okay. But it always made me laugh. And this is kind of what I visualized when he originally did it.
Yeah.
Just so you know, this scene, the guy that you're going to see, it's Ben, but it's a guy that's singing a jingle for a power drink.
Okay.
And it's just ridiculous. So here's a little bit of full Fungus coming to you.
How's that sound? No problem. All right. No, I got you.
Never give up on your dreaming. Never give up on your dreaming. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. You got to believe in yourself. Yeah. You got to believe in yourself. You better believe in yourself. You better believe in yourself, man. You fucking believe in your dream, man. Yeah.
So the audio there is the original. It's the scratchy original.
Yeah.
But the audio that I'm using is clear. It's like I have the.
Oh no! I think you should use the really bad audio.
No, because it'll blow out the speakers of the theater. It's the same audio. It's just clear. It doesn't. But anyways, I always love that. I love that. So that's Ken Mora is in that scene too. He plays a producer that's keep telling him more. He's telling him more, and he just keeps.
I love it when he got me when he started going.
Yeah, all of those clips are in the film. So, thank you, Ben Davis. That character, I'm gonna have a whole backstory on that character too.
What's that character's name?
I don't know yet, but
it's gonna be brilliant.
I'm not going to show the backstory in the film. That's another thing too. I'm going to release some kind of compendium of just backstories of different characters. There's so many characters in it, and that only appear for it's going to be like he's like my Greedo in Star Wars. So
right, yeah.
So but yeah, I've had that audio for a long time, and there's a few other things I have for Full Fungus that are very similar. Like I wanted to do this in a film for a long time. So there's a lot of different scenes, but I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to break for a commercial.
Okay.
And when we come back, I'm going to show you a few animated, just no audio, just straight from iMovie animated scenes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to show you in Animate of how scenes are animated, the real basics of it. All right.
Sounds good. So get to the nuts and bolts.
We're gonna lots of bolts and a few nuts. So all right, well, we'll be right back after this message.
Man, nice spread you got here, man. I love all the avocados. Look at you. Look like you just climbed out of a Tarzan catalog. Johnny Weissmiller in the flesh. And who is this? This is Nadia, my blushing bride. Look at her. That'll knock the coconuts flat off your palm tree. I think that I shall never see a bone as lovely as a tree. She knew me as a child in this elder man's body, and I knew that she truly embodied everything that a man could want. We run together in the sun, but both of us knowing that the night would come. But there's one thing that must be known: the night forever shall eat its own.
That's the new film from Wes Anderson coming out. You guys will enjoy that. That dog at the end, by the way, is, I think that actual sample is Joshua Kimball's dog. So,
the barking. Yeah.
yeah, it was sampled
Sounds
from.
familiar.
He did an episode of Artcasters, and the dog was barking in the background, and I
I
ripped the audio.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and I think the dog might be passed away, so it was a tribute.
Oh, nice.
Not because of me, but all right, Paul, let's do this. We're gonna show you a couple of little bit of okay, here we go.
By the way, that voice that was in that clip you just played, Charlie Rossman.
Plays
the lead Chino Diamond in the Full Fungus.
Yes,
and I just think he's brilliant.
Thank you.
You know, he's your like Leonardo DiCaprio to Martin Scorsese.
He's my Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of wonderful actors and things, this is the most you probably have most clips that you ever have seen from the Full Fungus. There is a flashback sequence that's in black and white in the Full Fungus. And I wanted to show you a little bit about, and actually, let me do this. Let me get rid of this audio because there is no audio. But you'll see some. This is a car pulling up. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yes. There's this is mink fungus. You know. Blah 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 blah. Here's mink fungus. Let's see what else we got here. We got Kovac at a restaurant. Somebody approaches Kovac. Blah, blah. It's actually this guy, played by Tom Racine. Wait till you hear the voice on this guy. This guy's name is Scarpelli, and he kind of sounds like Tom did a voice that sounds kind of like Bugs Bunny. Hey, where you going? I mean, yeah, it's kind of really good. But yeah, they're at a nightclub, and at said nightclub, you see the band is going down da 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 da. You know. So, and then what else we got here? Oh, we got Jellyfish Jones on the drums.
Give me some traveling music.
Yeah, and then we've got let's see, I got another shot over here. We've got right here. There's sax, the sax man. That is the bass player's name is Doodoo McPherson. And what the heck is the sax player's name? Peebo. Peebo is the sax player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mink's jamming. So you're getting the vibe of it. Oh, here, there's Doodoo. Boom, 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 boom.
The sweat coming down.
It was Kovac just sitting there watching it. And here's a little.
Oh, look at him! He's a stone cold killer.
Little smile at the end, right there. Yeah. And we got more of.
But that jazz touches.
Scarpelli, yeah, you like that? Yeah, you like that?
So no, this is what's his name again?
Scarpelli.
Scarpelli, and that's Tom Racine's voice.
It's Tom Racine, yeah. Oh, he does a great job. Tom does a great job.
He's got a great voice. I mean,
Yeah, Kovacs, not too impressed. But so you're seeing some yeah. So this is basically the movie. Look at this is a guy getting
how the hot dogs are the sort of, you can see the timeline down below.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, I laid out. This is another thing in iMovie. I lay out all the clips. I lay them all out, and then these don't have any audio yet.
Right.
There's mostly music. But the voices, Tom's voices are all done. I still got to come in and do Kovac and a few other characters, but and then got to piece it all together. But I just laid the timeline down because he's getting out of the car here. Yeah.
But you have the audio in your little scenes up in the upper left pane there, right?
Yes, but this was I dropped this here temporary. Here, let me play this. That's not the audio. So that is not the audio, but I put audio there just temporarily. Yeah. But yeah, this is
amazing. I love the black and white.
Yeah, I think it works really well. The club is called Club Tangerine, and this is in 1959, something like that.
Wow.
But I really like this guy a lot. Jellyfish.
Yeah, he's cool. And the piano keyboards up there look great too.
So here's I want a little mini homework assignment for people. This is Lou. This is the right-hand man, Lewis, the right-hand man of Kovac. And for those of you that go back and watch The Legend of Bobby Churro, the 20-minute version that I have, there's a scene where Bobby Churro is in he is in a club, a nightclub. I wonder if I should show it here. I don't know if I can. He's in a nightclub with some gangsters and the guy he's going to fight, Lincoln Jefferson. And there's two old gangsters at the table. One of them is Lou. So it's this guy. So he's also in The Legend of Bobby Churro. So I'll one day reference that in something. But yeah, that's some raw materials right there for a flashback sequence. That's
so awesome. So that's
very, very pivotal.
So that what you showed us there is iMovie. You take the scenes that have the animation and the audio, like the animation and like voices, any voices, right? So like if you have somebody talk, because the lip movements need to be animated to the voices, right?
Well, Paul, I have a trick.
Well, I mean, when the person's talking.
Yes, because I figured out a way to animate the mouths and everything first, and then bring the audio in later on, and then match it.
What?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's something I've done with most of the film, but not all of it. But so I can draw a character for you and have his whole scene where he's talking and everything, and then have you do the audio later and then come back and I can match it with editing. Just, and it matches and it works. And you can't really tell the difference from when I don't do that.
In editing in Animate?
No, in iMovie. So it's already a done scene. So basically this big secret, the theory is this. I just have people going,
right,
like that, and then with some O's, and just
yeah.
And then I take the audio, and then I have different expressions, and I can take a little second of somebody being mad. So I have somebody talking right now. The raw footage is them going blah 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 blah. I'll also a few seconds later have footage of them going mad with a mad expression going blah 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 blah. So if they get mad during mid-sentence, I can have them go like that, and I cut to the mad. You just have to be careful for people walking in the background and stuff like that, because otherwise people will disappear.
Right. You're right. Okay.
Yeah, wow. But it's a great trick, and it's helped me I have so many scenes that are done that I don't have the audio for yet.
Okay.
I'm collecting voices for still. So one thing about the full Fungus is that nothing has stopped production. Like everything's been going full Fungus. Everything's been going full steam. And actually, now's a good time to share something with you. I can show you this is Adobe Animate, a scene like this, like that I've already got. I'll show you how I do it. And okay, let's see here. So the wonderful scene that you're going to see now. You see this? This is Adobe Animate. Okay, yeah, this is Adobe Animate. This is like one of the scenes that now right here in my library, I have all of the elements, blinks, and whenever you see A or an O, that's their mouth shapes. I don't always label these right here, but I did for this purpose. Can you see it okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, like I have O here. If I turn it on and off, you'll probably see. Let's see here. Oh, I don't have anything laid here. Watch this.
Yeah.
I go and I take an O, the O right here, and I just drag and drop. Boink, and where'd it go? Turn it off. Here it is. That's his eye. Let's do this. Okay, so I'll just drop it here and go boom. The O. Let me just do this. I'm a master. Okay, and then drop it there. And actually, I can go like this too. I can go so you can see a little bit closer. See the O? Now, my timeline, if I go down the timeline, I'd have him going, ooh, for a long time. But since I don't want that, I put a blank keyframe. Now it's just a boop, like that. And then what I do is like, now watch this. So he has an A sound right here. Not an O. He has, I guess I don't have an A sound. Let's just say I put an A sound right here. I go to A for my library and just drop it in here. And then I got to unlock it first. Drop it in here. This will be a very short demo, by the way, because, yeah. And then, again, I only want to go that long. So, whoops. All right. What the F? Okay. There we go. About this long. So then I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. I will move this one over here. And I'll go like this. I'll go boink, 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 boink. Yeah. Okay. And then what I'll do sometimes in here, and I have all kinds of shortcuts set up. So I'll make this a little bit longer, and I'll make this one a little bit shorter, just so there's some variations. I'm getting rid of frames here. So now it goes like this. So his mouth moves, and here's an O. So if I have a character saying, well, I guess it's time I'll go, I could have him going, oh, I guess it's time to go. Right? So, yeah. If I have the audio track down here, I can I do all of this in the editing program in iMovie. So I don't have to do the audio in Animate. Now, when the times I do it in Animate, it's when it's really important. Like it has to match something perfectly, and I can't.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I know what you're talking about, but I feel like it might be interesting for somebody that doesn't know. So you say this scene right here, because if you got those people moving in the background, say for example, you couldn't do that in iMovie, could you?
No. Well, here's what happens. That's the background. Don't move the background, Jim. So I have a waiter that walks through the scene.
Okay.
I couldn't have him going with the generic, open, close, open, close, open, close. Yeah. And then if an O comes out at the wrong moment and I go back to the O, the waiter might go like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the waiter's going to be jumping around.
I have to time it when the waiter's going through, right. I kind of have to guesstimate, like he's not going to say an O or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, I don't do it every time. If it's important, I will drop the audio file. So I match it exactly. But right.
Let's say it's one where you got to have, you need to do the audio matched up to the lip syncing right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you do that, you create a little, say 5-second scene right here with 5 seconds of dialogue of the Scarpelli and the waiter walking by.
Yeah.
And it's got to be synced perfectly. Then you take that to iMovie and you drop that into iMovie, and then you can separate the audio out from it, or you don't have to really.
Yeah. Well, here
You
let's
can leave the audio in there.
So
but
look
then,
at this
Then
example.
but then you put the music on top of that.
Yeah. So a lot of my stuff's done in an iMovie. Like, watch. Here's the scene. Wait, which is the scene where Koviak? I have it right. I guess I don't have it in here. I didn't drop it in here. I thought I did. It's not in iMovie yet. I have to import it still. But let's take this one. All right. See, I have Koviak going like this. Blah, 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 blah. There's nobody walking behind him. So I haven't even done this voice yet, but he's going to be like, "You're ugly." You know, he's going to say something, but you know, I can just match it. I can just down, if I drop it in here, you know, I can just go like he goes blah, 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 blah. I can go cut here and like I can double it. I can just boop and put it or triple it. So I have him talking longer, blah, 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 blah. If his mouth's moving too fast, you can adjust the speed in iMovie of a clip. You just go over here and go to this little timer and go speed. You can go custom, and I could have him be at 30%, let's say. See how it extends the clip? So I can go, watch, I'll just play it. So he's going blah, 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 talking fast, slower, slower, blah, 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 blah. Ooh, you know. Now this has been a way that I've done scenes that are easy to do like this. But there might be a way where if Koviak points at him and says, "You and your friends get out of here," you know, or something like that, I might have to drop the file because he's going, oh, you know, an O shape. You know, it's got to match perfectly. And his thumb's got to, you know, do a gesture. So it's not the whole movie's not done like this, but there's scenes where I know this is where being a one-person crew comes in handy because I already know, like, oh, I can get away with this. I can do this. And if I can't get away with it, I can go back and do it again afterwards. So you see where I'm coming from? You see where I'm coming from? And that's why you guys watch this show, because you get little tidbits like this. I have right now. So here's the thing. When I say done, nothing's ever done till it's done. And I already knew going in that I will have a finished version of this movie and then say, oh, okay, I got to add the little flourishes, or I got to take out this, or, you know what I mean? One day it'll be done. But right now I have 18 minutes done. Those 18 minutes have zero voice over from Charlie, because Charlie's going to do like a detective noir, kind of that whole like, it was a sunny day, you know.
Yeah, it was a dark and rainy night.
Yeah. So he's got to do a lot of that, including the opening basketball scenes and stuff like that. Now, I do have, and I might have put this for my patrons, a 2-minute documentary about what the full fungus is. And that might open the film. I think it will open the film now. By the way, I sent you a clip of what I have so far, Paul. So you got to check it out sometime.
Yeah.
But thanks to Gary Hodges, this clip was going to play in the middle of the film at this one key point. And then Gary watched it. He's like, you might think about putting it at the beginning. And I just thought about it. I was like, oh my God, you're right. Because if I played at the beginning, it explains what the full fungus is. And the audience already has that knowledge going in, and it makes my job so much easier. I don't have to. I was going to do all these reveals and stuff like that.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's really clever, you know, because I've learned that recently. You know, it's good to hook the audience in right away if you can.
Yeah.
That's why they call him Dr. Hodges.
That's why he got his doctorate in being smart. So, once I did that, and then it still goes into the original opening scene that I was going to use. I was so happy. I was so happy. Yeah. Thank you, Gary. So so the other day, speaking of Dr. Hodges, I wrote Gary, I sent him a text and I said, the full fungus is pretty fucking good. I was riding a wave of confidence because I had just finished a couple scenes, and I'm like, I'm happy with it. Like it's
That's
coming
awesome.
along, it's coming along really good, and it's not even like polished or anything. But
Yeah.
that's the other thing too. One of the So for those of you that even consider doing a feature, one of the benefits for doing a feature is you don't really have time to worry or overthink something, and where you kill the magic, like you come up with something and then you just go back and you do it a million. No, I got to do it perfect, and you do it a million times, and by your end product is like lost all the magic.
Right.
One of the great things about doing a feature is that there's so much. This mountain is so big that you don't have time to do that. You have time to. It's like if you're gonna go, scale Everest, you better double check your tents and stuff, but you don't have time to go. But do I want the nylon? Take the nylon, or do I want to take this? Or the canvas is pretty good, but should I? You don't have time. You got like the snow's coming in, the storm's coming in. You got to get up on the mountain by a certain time.
That's another interesting thing about you, Jim. About this whole like you're genuinely funny dude. Like okay, like I can be funny because I know.
Prove it.
I mean, I know. Like I've been watching Moonlighting, by the way.
Oh, it's a great show. I got to start watching that again.
Hey, this is off topic, but Sybil Shepherd. I think when I watched Moonlight, I haven't watched Moonlighting since, I was whenever it came out in the 80s, right? And Sybil Shepherd was, like this pretty lady, but, I was like in high school, college age, she's mid-30s woman. It was lost on me. Now I'm watching it and I'm like, man, she's awesome, just a great show. But, the real fast repartee, and that was one of the things I had read or maybe saw about a YouTube video or something about that show, was they were working on it so fast all the time that they just had to put it out. But they said that was one of the things that made it so magical, was that it was just in the moment. They didn't have time to like you said, ruin it, but I've also wondered about things like, so there's people that are like, like I had these questions I was going to ask you, like like between two ferns. I can't, because I can't keep a straight face.
One of Paul's questions that he was going to ask me goes, Jim, is it okay if I ask you, Jim, you've made so many films. You have over 50 shorts. Have you ever thought of making one that's funny?
They are cartoons after all.
And then I would have done like this. Well, that was our show for.
But like, I don't know if you read this on my friend Missy. She wrote a little thing on Facebook the other day. It said, okay, the guy comes into my bar. She's at the bar. She's a bartender. The guy comes into my bar and says, "You look familiar." And she responds, "Do you watch porn?" And he goes, "Yeah. Have you made a porn?" And she said, "No, I just wanted to see if you watch it." Now, the thing about her is that I know her, and she would come up with that right on the spot, because she is genuinely freaking hilarious. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
I can write that, but I can never do that on the spot,
By the way, Paul, tell everybody who Missy is, and that and how she's in the film, or how she got in the film, and then I'll elaborate on it.
Okay, yeah, Missy's a friend of mine. I've known Missy since I was like,
Missy Stecco is her name.
Yeah, and she was one of the first people I met when I went to Flint, and we've been friends for years. And she's just she's a beautiful woman. And when I met her, she was a beautiful girl, and but we've been friends, big group of friends, and she's part of that group. And but she is just a hilarious person. I mean, she does funny things, and she's just super cool. And,
so Paul
yeah.
kind of made the connection with us, and then I
Yeah.
talked to her, and I realized
I actually was making the compendium of a film that I've been working on, and she did some voices for me.
oh,
And I
yeah.
thought they were great. And so then I haven't done anything with it. But then I recommended her to you, Jim.
Yeah, and then right off the bat, when I talked to her, I realized, oh, she's great. She's easygoing. This is, she's funny.
Yeah.
And then I told her, and the last time I recorded with her, I go, you're like my utility player in this. Like, she doesn't have any super long scenes, but she's got a sprinkling of like real short scenes. The first thing she did for me was Yolanda Last Rights Ferguson, the MMA fighter. There's a thing, and these gloves, and her line was, what does she say? She says, "Say goodnight, bitch," and she like they hit gloves. That's her, but she did it so perfectly. But I want to show you something. She plays a receptionist at a recording studio where the guy's doing that jingle. She's the receptionist there, and her name's Gwen, and she's kind of like a dyed hair and stuff like that. But she did a great job, and I can show you a little sneak preview, and I hope Missy sees this this will be the first time she sees her character. Okay, so here we go. Chino Diamond goes into a place.
Just look at her blue hair.
What's the word there, Thunderbird?
Don't tell me he's stalking Selena Gomez. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with that guy? He just got his ankle bracelet off.
What? Oh, no, this is a social call. I just need to talk to Ennis about some jazz history stuff.
All right, he's finishing up a session right now. They're recording a Power Burst jingle. That stupid sports drink.
Never give up on your dreaming.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's
oh, cool.
That is Missy. That's her debut.
Exciting.
So, Missy, you did a great job, and hope to do more in the future. So, thank you. So, I'll do a little backstory on her Gwen character too, the receptionist. So, but
that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, so where I was going with that is she's funny, but you're funny like that too. You're like just
funny
quick.
How, Paul? Funny how?
Genuinely funny. I mean, you're one of the funniest people I know. But then to be able to capture that in a movie that takes so long to make,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be able to just, catch that lightning in a bottle or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And every scene doesn't need to be a joke, I've realized. And also it helps. One of the other advantages from doing a feature is you get so far along the path that you can go start over again and trace your steps, and you can watch it with more fresh eyes. You can watch it.
Yeah, that's what I find is really hard for me to do. I get so lost in the little minute in the weeds, that I have a hard time stepping back.
Yeah,
and watching it with fresh eyes.
I'm going to wrap this show. But before I do, I wanted to tell you the biggest challenge of this. The biggest challenge of this project, doing this feature, and it wasn't the case with Foreverland, because Foreverland, when you think about it, was a lot of music. It was almost like a musical.
Yeah.
There was so much music in that it was like doing a series of music videos almost.
Right.
And then there was the dialogue in between. This one's like a movie. This one is like dialogue and action, and then the music, and then
yeah.
But the trickiest thing for this has been I'm not using the traditional script.
Right.
So I've been compiling scenes that I know where it's going, and I compile them, but it gives me the freedom to take a scene and move it over here, and it still works. And to do that,
or do the thing like put that documentary in the beginning.
Like that documentary, I think I'm gonna put it at the beginning of the film. That was supposed to be in the middle of the film, but it doesn't throw anything off. It added to it. There's a lot of situations like that, a lot. So that's been the challenge. It's like you have all these different pieces. Certain ones have to stay in place for the story to make sense, but there's all kinds of ones floating around and trying to just build the puzzle. It's like we threw the whole thing on the floor, and then we're building it. But it's starting to come to life, and
you're like the detective that's chasing the crime boss, and he's got the all the different pictures on the wall with the string going from the.
Yes, or to even be more accurate, it's like I'm trying to search for the full fungus.
Just a great premise to the story.
Yes. So and challenge. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, so, I just want to end the show by saying thank you to you, Paul. Thank you for being an ear. Like I say, I always, Gary's been really good. I throw ideas at Gary, and he kind of, well, maybe try this or that. Oh, okay. And then
you can actually count on Gary to think about your stuff. You can count on me to laugh at it.
So Gary's that guy, and you're the guy where I go, Paul, how does this look to you? And you'll tell me. So, but I also want to say with all of the strife going on in the world, we send all of our love out there to everybody. And if you have anybody has a comment they want to make about what's going on in the world right now, Gary, that's really mean, Gary. That's cold, Gary. This
delights in other people's misfortune.
That's terrible, Gary. How could you?
I can't believe this guy.
Okay, we're gonna have to have a talk. But anyways, thank you, Gary. Speaking of Dr. Hodges, thank you.
What about Deacon? How many voices does Deacon do in this movie?
Deacon Burns. Oh yeah, thank you. He plays Mink Fungus. He plays Wilt Fungus. He plays he probably does, I know I'm missing somebody. He does probably like 4 voices in this, at least. Well, 2 main characters he does for sure. Then I think he does a band member in Mink's band. And I think he does all of Charlie Rossman's lines.
He does. Oh, thank God. Thank God.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you, everyone in the movie. Thank you, Missy, Charlie, Deacon, Tom Racine, who's going to win an Oscar for this. Wait till you see what he does. I mean, just everybody's been great. Lisa Huff is in this. Missy, did I say Missy? I said Missy. Yeah. Ben Davis, Jose Cabrera. I'm Neeson Leone. Neeson's been my distraction for this film, because Neeson's he's like a Sancho, if anybody knows what that is. He's like, hey, when you get bored with that one, come over here. I got something for you. And that's Neeson. When you get bored with the film, go over there and record music with Neeson. Do music with Neeson. It's fun. So he's been a distraction, but a happy one. And who am I? I know I'm forgetting somebody else that's done voices for me for this. Gary Hodges. Thank you, Gary. Gary does some key moments in this. There's a lot of people in this film. So if I forgot your name, I will build.
And I'm a shoe designer for the film.
Oh yeah, Paul did, and I wonder if I should show you. You know what, Paul? Because I'm not going to do another one of these. Hey man, how's your movie going for a few weeks? Like I said, in the second half of this, because we're at the halfway mark. In the second half of the production of this, I'm going to do these a lot less. I'm not going to stop doing them, but I'm going to do them a lot less. And I am going to keep doing updates on Instagram and stuff. So, and if you're on Patreon, you'll always get to see clips and stuff like that. But hang tight. I'm just getting something set up. I want to show you, Paul, your shoes that make a cameo in this. All right, hang on. Tell them the backstory of the shoes, Paul, while I'm pulling it up.
Well, I'm working on a graphic novel called Detective Perez Autotropolis. And one of the key sort of plot points that is really supposed to kind of bring the story home is these shoes. It's kind of like this character, this character by their shoes. And the character's really bad, ominous kind of guy who bad things happen when this guy is around. And he wears these shoes.
Yes.
So when you see these shoes show up, it's not good.
Yes.
It's bad. It's real bad.
It's bad.
That's in Rust City, So.
All right, let me show you. Here are the shoes.
Oh, there they are. And you got the guy hanging upside down. I love it.
Oh, he's on the ground. He's on the ground. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Nice. There they are.
The shoes in all of their glory.
Very exciting.
Well, those are Paul's shoes right there to the left. So
they're called P-dubs.
They're called what?
P-dubs.
Thank you, Paul, for lending me your shoes. So
just give them back when you're done, please.
All right. And Gary also commented on his laughing at people's misery. But thank you, Prismation. Everyone that's watching this later on, you are in the future. How are things in the future? Everything cool?
Tell us.
Good. Any UFOs show up or anything?
Right. What's the deal with those UFOs?
What's the deal with the UFO food? Anyways. All right, Paul, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, Jim, for having me. That was so much fun.
Lots of more updates come in for the full Fungus. We're reaching the second half of the film. And all of the... big shout out. Corey Kerr, if you're watching this, huge apologies. Malia, his wife. Malia, huge apologies. You do Brandy Fungus, one of the other main characters in the film. I knew I forgot somebody. Brandy Fungus. So, and I'm going to be calling Malia pretty soon because we got to do the second half of her recordings, and she's been great as Brandy Fungus. So thank you.
Awesome.
So, with that,
thank you, Martin Scorsese, for not being here.
Yeah, thank you, Martin Scorsese. You've been really. No, Jim, no need to thank me. Just thank your audience. Thank you, everybody, for watching it. And it's really a great good show. And just remember, if you laugh at people's misery, their misery is going to come back laughing at you 10 times over. All right, thank you. So, all right, well, with that, we'll say goodnight, and I'll see you guys about a month or so, maybe sooner, but keep looking out on Instagram and et cetera. And Paul, go to paulpate.com. And Paul, if you send me the link to Samurai Thai, I'll put it in the notes in this show.
Awesome. I will do that.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you for the interest. And I'll have more updates for you in the upcoming weeks. All right. Stay Fungus.